A message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my pockets
that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one. That's
Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum, the number one sports betting vibe on the internet.
Yes.
We're back, week one. We made it. It always feels good when you're back to week one, bro.
Yeah. Can't you just smell the grass in the air? Like,
It's-
even though we're like in the middle of like a luxurious Las Vegas hotel, I could still smell like the fresh football grass.
It just feels so damn good, bro. It's the best time of the year. Imagine, how about this? Imagine the winter without football.
Ooh. Winter would be the absolute worst. Like, are you saying that I would be able to get at least the first part of football?
No, I'm saying imagine if
we-
winter time didn't have football. So your Sundays
Yeah.
in the winter when it's frigid out. I mean, depending on where you are in the country, right? In Vegas, it probably gets to like, 50
Yeah.
degrees and people are running for 3 hoodies and whatnot.
No, I'm trying to think like what I would possibly do. I mean, maybe pick up a hobby. But like I don't want to do something that's lame. Like, but just I can't even think, Nick. Like you really are stumping me with this question because it's like, what would I do?
It would be awful, bro.
Yeah,
It would suck if you didn't have football in the wintertime and then you just have to like
you have to spend time with people.
Dude,
you know,
and
I just want to spend time with my TV.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, bro.
Damn.
And you know what I love about the West Coast? The games start earlier.
Oh, it's the best.
So when I wake up, bam, 10 a.m. Oh, look at this. Football's on already.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it does suck when there's the international games, like the London games.
Very true, because then it's like 5 a.m. wake up. But see, dude, I'm going to be honest. I love it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a 5:30 in the morning. I'm going to get up and take a piss type of guy. So during the international games, I'm waking up. I'm seeing the first quarter score. Then, you take your piss. You go back to bed. I wake up. An intense wake up, bro. Like fourth quarter, they're driving. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing on earth.
Ah, it's so
We're
good.
back, baby.
It's so
Let's
good.
go.
It's so good, man.
Let's
It's
go.
So good. I'm excited, dude. I'm
Yes.
looking forward to it.
Yes.
I know I say this every year, but it seems like, especially in this line of work in the industry that we're in and, our craft, I feel like I've become smarter every year with football and just
Agreed.
like understanding and comprehending. And, my, the biggest thing that's changed for me as a football fan, and I think as a sports fan in general, has been understanding the business aspect of sports. And I
Right.
always credit Will Blackman, the show we did together, because I used to shit on players for like holding out, like, yo, why are they doing that, man? I don't understand why they're doing that. And he would be like, bro, you got to be pro player, especially in the NFL, because he experienced it when he was in Green Bay. He tore
Yeah.
his ACL and they cut him.
That's a sad reality,
It's a
bro.
sad. He's like, bro, you always, if you remember anything, you got to be pro player.
Did you ever ask him, did he recover with the team? So like he did all his recovery and
No,
then they cut him?
he actually did it with the Giants, and then he signed with the Giants.
Got it.
Yeah. So ever since then, man, like understanding the business aspect of football, understanding that it's really hard to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need so much shit to go your way. You need your owner to make the right decisions in hiring the front office. The front office needs to hire the right coach. You need to draft well. You need to develop your players well. You need to make the right trades, the right moves. You need the ball to bounce your way. We talk about one-score games being such a big indicator to how a team is going to do year in, year out. You need your players to be healthy. You need to stay healthy.
Yeah.
There's so much shit that goes into it, man. And I've had this take forever about how in any sport, if you get 2 rings, at least for me, it's the same as having 4.
Mm-hmm.
You could sit at the table and have a combo. If you have 1, you might not be invited. If
Right.
you have 2 and I have 2 and you have 4, I feel like we've seen the same things and we can have that conversation.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have 4 and I have 1, it's like, nah, man, maybe it was a fluke. Twice is not a fluke.
Very true. I think you when you hit that second championship, you are very familiar with how to celebrate the championship, and I think that's what they resonate the most with. The first time you win a championship, bro, you like low-key don't know how to act. You don't know the right things to do. You don't know the right clubs to go to. You don't know the right girls to call. Second championship and up, like all those guys, they got the same Rolodex of context that they go through when that happens. So I agree with you. I know we're going to cover that today.
Yeah, we have a fun topic for sure. It kind of sparked a lot of interest in the Discord and just on social when I was promoting it a lot, and in my DMs too, because I put up the poll. But we'll get to that in a little bit, though. Yeah, we'll definitely get to that in a little bit.
I mean, you alluded to Colombia on the NFL preview show, and I tried my hardest for the viewers to get some stories out of you. But now we got a little bit of time here, Nick, before we truly dive into NFL Week 1. So tell the people how the month in Colombia was.
I wish it was a month. That's for sure. It was 2 weeks. I was down there for 2 weeks. And you know, we took about 6 weeks off from recording, something I've never done before since we started the show back in 2015, right? It's just been 2 shows a week, sometimes 3. And it was great to like step away. It was cool. Like I was, you want to talk about being a piece of shit on vacation?
Give me a rundown of like, this is how much of a piece of shit I was. Like, what time are you waking up? What do you eat?
I was waking up early because I was also going to bed early, bro. I had some nights I'd go to bed at like 10 p.m.
Okay.
11 p.m. Mind you, I'm someone that goes to bed now at around 2:33 because of the things I do and all the production stuff. Yeah. Working later. So that's why, right? So felt really well rested. I'd wake up at around 9. There's a mall over in Medellin called the Santa Fe Mall. And I was going there and I'd go and I'd be there for 4 or 5 hours, bro. it was crazy because I'd go
people watching and shopping.
No, so I would go to the cafe. Shouts to my boy Ian. I do jujitsu with him, and he kind of gave me he kind of pulled the curtain back on like the dating scene in Colombia and how to do it the right way, right? Like I was on no apps. I feel like it's very dangerous. I've heard horror stories about dudes getting robbed, dudes getting drugged. I didn't want to do all that. So I wasn't on any other apps.
Checking your P's and Q's.
So what I was doing is I would go to the mall at like 10 o'clock, have a little breakfast, have a little coffee. I'd hang out there, meet a lot of people. You stand out that you're not Spanish.
Correct.
Right? Even though when they would announce my name for things, Dais, I got Diaz the whole time.
This.
I didn't even correct them. I was like,
this.
I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm committed to this.
Right.
So from there, I would go to the gym at the mall. And what should be a 45-minute workout turned into 2 hours and 15 minutes. Just mingling, extended time on the treadmill.
Bro, you were living like a retired person's lifestyle.
Yo, legit, right? And then after
what that sounds like.
After the workout, I would go and I would eat lunch. So I'd have breakfast and lunch at the mall. And I did this like 4 times a week. Because then on the weekends I was traveling, going to other places, and that's where I was putting in all the work.
So let's get down to the juicy details. There was multiple pictures on your Instagram story of a girl in the corner. I don't looked like a fine lady.
Great girl.
Great girl. Just, do you want to touch on that? I bet like a lot of people were wondering like, who is Nick with in Colombia?
Nah, what I will say is this.
You got to clear the air.
Yeah,
this was mutually agreed upon.
It was it was cool, man. I had a great time. My boss is here lurking in the background, so I'm gonna keep it as politically correct as possible.
Right.
Listen, man, my number 1 draft pick on the planet is Colombian chicks. Like it's number 1, right? And then after that, it's like maybe Brazilian, but it's like Colombian chicks and then like Brazilian chicks after. And then white girls are like 50 feet below the surface of the earth.
Wow.
Can't do it. I like a little crazy, but like to a certain extent, right? Like don't key my car, but also press me on why I didn't text you back. It kind of turns me on a little bit.
It shows that they care.
It shows that they care. That's what I'm getting
That's
at.
what he's looking for.
There's levels to crazy, right?
And your mom clowned you. So like psychologically, you're like, if she doesn't get on my ass, like
yeah, like we can't have
this
that.
won't work.
Yeah. So I had a good time, man. I had a good time. It was I mean, listen, let me tell you guys this, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the 22.3% of female listeners that we have.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a lot in this
I think it's
space.
because we're handsome.
I would like to think so.
Yeah, I'm going to go with us being handsome. And also because now betting is becoming so popular, maybe they have a plus one or they have a brother or a father that bets and they're like, hey, man, we know these dudes. They're fucking wizards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe you should bet on so-and-so because of what I heard there, right? So shout out to the lovely ladies that listen to the show. But this one's for the fellas. Fellas, if ever some shit goes down, you see your girl with someone else, you walk in and she's with someone else, it might be a lot for you to handle. Don't overreact. Go to Expedia, book a flight to Colombia, and your problems will be solved. That's my advice to all the fellas out there. And ladies, if that upsets you, just don't think about it. You'll be fine.
And ladies, you can book a one-way trip to Jamaica.
Or to Dubai, if you're into that.
Dubai, yeah.
You can get shitted on. I've said too much.
Wait, what? That is
You
brand
ever heard
new.
the stories about the girls that go to Dubai?
To get shit on?
Yeah, they get paid like a lot of money.
To like literally like.
Yeah, for real.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if we should make this a Patreon exclusive, but maybe this could be the thing that spearheads us with some more momentum going into the football season.
Yeah, this watch like it peak in viewership in these last 30 seconds, not talking about football at all.
Yeah.
We're going to be like, what are we doing?
But bro, can I tell you my favorite part of the trip? I went to a soccer game.
Cool.
Lifelong bucket list of mine to go to a soccer game in South America. And now that I think about it, oh no, I went to a soccer game in Greece once, but that don't count because like I know the language and I know the culture. But dude, so I go to the Nacional game, right? It's like the #1 team in Colombia. I would say, George, it's basically, think of their fan base is like the Lakers. Like there's fans throughout the whole like country.
Jerseys everywhere.
Yeah. And it's the most popular team in Colombia. It would be like being a Yankee fan, right? Yankee, Lakers, like Cowboys, like that kind of team, right? First of all, the tickets were like $25.
And you were on the field.
First come, first serve seating.
Oh.
You see 2 seats open at the 50-yard line? Good, yeah, they're yours. Now, if you get up and someone comes and takes it, you're asked out.
I actually really like that system.
So there's that. Not a single metal detector in the whole place. And I go to my friend Alejandro, shouts out Alejandro. I'm like, yo, bro, is there no metal detectors? He goes, nah, it's you guys that are crazy in the States. He's like, you guys are the ones. Not a single, I was tripping out, bro. Cause like,
yeah,
dude, when you go to any game, there's a metal detector. Then if you look sketchy at all,
there's
TSA
a pat down.
Checks, bro. Yeah.
When I was in Atlanta last year, I was like, God damn.
Bro, there's like 2 check-ins.
This is nuts. Yeah.
There's like 2 check-ins and shit. $2 beers, 16 ounces. Oh, bro, who needs?
You went through 8?
I got shredded. I drank so much. $2 beers?
Yeah.
It's $22
and it was
at
good,
Allegiant.
probably. It was
yeah,
humid.
it was nice and cold.
Bro, you were probably
amazing.
just sweating your ass
It was
off.
amazing.
And just
didn't see one opposing team's jersey or color. The team they were playing wore purple. And it was because of like how hostile it could get. And the hooligan section, like the crazy fan base, jumping up and down the whole game. They were losing 1-0. It got louder. It was nuts. It was nuts. And that was, I think, my favorite part of the trip, bro.
If you take trips and you don't revolve it around some sort of sporting event or some sort of like, yeah, it has to be a sporting event. Like sporting events on vacation make the vacation super memorable. When I went to New York last year, I got to see the Knicks, or what was it, 2 years ago? Got to see the Knicks playoff game, Yankee game, made my trip. That was the first thing I looked at when I was booking my vacation.
Oh, bro, we do that all the time. When my friends and I go on vacations, we always try to go, even we're not the biggest baseball fans, and we'll go to baseball games. We went to Toronto. We saw a Maple Leafs game. I've been to Montreal. I saw the Canadians play. Just as a sports fan, I feel like you got to do that, right?
Right.
And then the last thing I'll say about Colombia that's so dope, never felt safer. My advice to people is like, if you're not a fucking idiot, you'll be fine. And for the most part, if you understand what I mean by that, then it shouldn't be confusing to you. You know,
Yeah,
don't want, like, bro, there's places everywhere. There's places in New York that I don't walk around at 1 a.m. by myself. And I'm from there.
Yeah.
Right? It's like that everywhere. So it's kind of the same thing. And, you know, the 2-3 girls that come up to you and throw themselves at you, they're probably escorts. They're probably going to try to do some funky shit to you. It's not as good as it seems. So just be careful. Pursue what costs.
It's true, bro. You'll wake
right?
up.
And then, like,
on
bro,
a ship
the
to
food
Cuba.
was amazing. I lost weight on the trip because I was fucking drinking pina coladas and beers, and everything was a 5-star restaurant I was going to, cheap. I know Isaiah's been to Colombia. We talk about it all the time. It's like, bro, you have a 5-course meal, bottle of wine, entrees for you and the +1. Bill comes out, it's like $98. You're like, what the bottle of wine at all?
Mentally,
It's
aren't you
nuts.
like, I'm about to tip you $98? Like when
Bro, let me tell you the crazy.
I'm about to hit you with 100%er.
Yo, so check this
Feel
out,
like a
right?
king for real.
Last thing, and then we'll get into football, I promise. But a lot of people did hit me up about, like, yo, talk about Colombia. I go out to this club, right? I'm not a club or bar. I'm more of a bar guy, nice laid back. I go to this club, and I'm with this girl and a bunch of her friends, and there's some guys there too. The party is like 12 of us, right? I was feeling good. It was the second night I was there. Fuck it, let's get some shots. Get shots of Don Julio. 12 shots. $38 American.
Oh, love to see it.
I'm hammered now. I'm like, yeah, how much is a bottle? The girl is like, we don't do no bottle culture. I was like, fuck it, let's get a bottle. We get 2 bottles. $200. Right? Premier table next to the DJ. There was some local, like, fucking rapper or some shit singer. He had 8 million followers. Never heard of him. But everyone was like, yo, this is like VIP. And people were going
Daddy Yankee's
crazy.
cousin.
I gave the waiter $50 American, and he was like about to bow down to me, bro. It's crazy. It was nuts. And, like, perspective is everything, bro. For as shitty as we might have it here or seem like we have it, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I will say, man, the way things are progressing, I think by 40, I might hang up the jersey, retire, move down there, open up a jiu-jitsu school.
What would you call your jiu-jitsu school? Lamb chops?
Nah.
Lamb anything? I don't know.
Lamb jitsu.
Lamb jitsu.
I don't know what I would
you do
call
it with lambs.
But yo, it would
bring them in and you do jiu-jitsu
it's
moves
great.
on
You know,
lambs.
on a serious note, man, it was amazing. It was relaxing, and it made me appreciate everything here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, it's good here. This little routine we got. So I'm happy to be back. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of the stories. We'll be sharing more as the NFL season goes on, because we're never going to not talk about Colombia. But we need to get into some football.
Oh, yeah.
And before we do, announcement time. Every year we do an NFL contest. And this year we're going to continue to do the NFL contest. And we're going to do it a little bit different, George. The show is doing well. We have some sponsors coming in. And I kind of want to give some money back and give some money away.
We'd love to hear that.
We're going to do an NFL contest. It's on ESPN. It's free to enter. Everybody can enter. If you don't enter week 1 or 2 or 3, you can enter just for week 5. You can enter whenever. You're going to pick every game against the spread. If you win and you're a Patreon member, it's a $100 giveaway. So you could be a Patreon member in any tier. You will win $100 if you have the best record that week. If you are a non-Patreon member, you'll win $50. We'll be giving away money. We'll be giving away merch. The link is in the bio of the episode, so you'll have access to that. Again, it is free to enter. We want to give back. I want to give back. The support's been amazing. It's been cool. It's a way for us to kind of talk shit, brag. George and I are going to be in the contest also.
Yes.
If either of us win that week, the following week it'll be a double prize.
Double prize, and then we would get to wear a king's crown for that week.
Yeah.
I'll find a nice little king's crown.
Yeah.
So
So
we dominate.
you'll be able to make some money. It'll be free. I think we got like 30 people in it right now. Haven't promoted it on the episode yet, so I'm excited for more people to
Hopefully
enter.
it blows up.
And again, this is all you is going to be the whole football season. So if you listen to this and you didn't get your picks in for Thursday or Friday night football, then, which feels weird to say, right? Friday night football, you could enter the following week. So this is just a contest as a way to give back to everybody. And the support's been amazing. I hope you guys like some of the new lower thirds and the new graphics on the YouTube channel and all the content coming out. And again, rate, review, subscribe, share, tell everybody about it. It's the best endorsement you could give for the show and for the brand. Okay. Whoa, that was good.
I kind of saw you doing
you did?
it. I did.
Damn,
I
why'd
felt
you
it.
ruin the
I
vibe,
know.
bro?
I
You
know.
should've
I
just
know.
went with it.
I wanted to be honest.
I want to talk about a poll that came up about the most overrated player in the NFL. And it was voted on by the players.
Which always is crazy to me how they get these polls.
And the most overrated player in the NFL based on their peers was Josh Allen. Then came Tua. Then came Jalen Hurts. Literally on the NFL preview show, I said that outside of Patrick Mahomes, the only guy that I trust with my life to deliver in a big spot in a playoff game is Josh Allen.
You did.
That's not being overrated.
Agreed. Isn't it funny that it was 3 quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Is that one of the like most overrated looked at positions? Like it's easy to call a lot of these quarterbacks overrated because they're the only people that we talk about on those teams.
What are we basing it being overrated? What is the criteria to overrated for you? Now, this is, I don't know your answer, and I think this is something that's subjective, right? Is it the money they're making? Is it what their reputation is to the mainstream media that we think it's over or properly or underrated? I don't know. I have my rationale I'll get to in a little bit. But to me, I think that the idea that he's the most overrated is wild. Are we basing it on him not winning Super Bowls? Hey, man, it's hard to win a championship as I started the show out, number one. Number two, what did we say on the preview show, bro? It's the Mahomes era now.
Mm-hmm.
And
you better buckle up.
There's so many great quarterbacks in the league that they might not win championships because number 15 is in Kansas City. And I was talking to my boy Will. Shouts to Will. He used to play football at UNLV. I think you know Will.
Yeah, I played with Will.
So I do jiu-jitsu with him, and we were paired up, and we were talking about it. And he's like, yo, what do you like this year? And I'm like, man, the more I look at it, I feel dumb not taking the Chiefs at 6-1 for the Super Bowl. I know Jeremiah was telling you, and he told me about just sort of not a round robin, but you take them to win the AFC with like the top 4 contenders, and you get anywhere from like 25-1 odds to like 70-1 odds. And it's your Eagles, it's your Niners, it's the Cowboys and Packers or Lions. It's like those teams, right? Mm-hmm. And the more I look at it, bro, it's like, are we calling Josh Allen overrated? Are we calling Jalen Hurts overrated? Are we calling Tua overrated? Are we calling these guys overrated because they can't beat Pat Mahomes in the playoffs? I believe he's 13-3 in his career in the playoffs. Pat Mahomes is. Mm-hmm. It's like, is that what we're basing this conversation off? Because that's wild to me.
Yeah.
Jordan beat all these guys. LeBron would beat these guys that couldn't come out the East when he was there. There's all these players, Messi and Ronaldo in soccer. They won like 15 consecutive Ballon d'Ors. Does it mean everyone else is trash or overrated? I don't know what the criteria is, but for me, when it comes to Josh Allen, it's Mahomes and him that it could be on the road in Kansas City. It could be in terrible weather. This guy delivers in big spots. And I know the one black eye that he has on his career was the game at home in the snow against the Bengals. That's probably the one where you're like, man, that doesn't fit this take that you have.
Right.
All right, man, he had a stinker, right? And when it comes to Mahomes and the Chiefs, I think last year was the year to get him, bro. Their offense is going to be better. He's there. Their defense might regress, but if they won a Super Bowl and the offense was kind of lackluster, you're never going to beat them. Mm-hmm. So I know I went long-winded here. I think the idea that Josh Allen is the most overrated player in the league is wild to me. I think it's Mahomes and him when it comes to having good games.
I 100% agree with everything you said there. I look at it more so when you're like trying to accurately think about what makes an overrated player. I think it's at some point in time they had a level of success that appeared to put them on a trajectory of greatness. So for example, like this could be a high school or a college player making like a viral catch or a play, or having like or being like a 5-star recruit out of high school and then just not panning out in the NFL. I think that's the true definition of somebody who is overrated. Especially when it comes to their play, not, necessarily reflecting the 5-star rating, or like whatever big viral moment they had. The list that I came up with, I feel is, pretty accurate based on the offseason that just happened. I do want to know though what your list is first, because you were very adamant on saying Josh Allen is not the most overrated player. So who is the most overrated player?
So the way I base overrated, I feel like we need to explain that first.
Mm-hmm.
I think overrated is what is your reputation amongst like consensus and public perception,
Mm-hmm.
and then how I view you as, right? Because it's all about being subjective, right?
Correct.
It's kind of what everything is: sports betting, public perception, just the whole nine, right? I think the most overrated player in the NFL is a skill position player. And I think the most overrated player in the NFL is Joey Bosa. Think about the money he's made.
Yes.
His impact is... It's crazy because my list is all defensive ends.
That's funny. I had Joey Bosa as my third player. I agree with you. The only things you remember Joey Bosa from are going in to watch his brother's 49er games and him yelling at fans. Like that's your highlight moment of the last 3 years. Underperformed. The most recent Chargers edge rusher to pop off was Khalil Mack, who had 7 sacks in a game that kind of just fell to him. And then you see him do it and you're like, Joey, like,
yeah,
what have you done?
In the last 4 years, he's had 1 double-digit sack season. Mind you, it's an extra game now and there's more passing. And his reputation is, the Bosa brothers. It's like, no, it's really Nick.
Yeah.
It's really Nick Bosa.
And even Nick, I was kind of teetering on possibly putting him on the list there too.
Yeah.
I just think that there's so many better edge rushers.
Yeah.
And so I guess that doesn't surprise me that you had 3 DNs.
Yeah. And this one's gonna sound crazy. You know who I think I don't get the hype. I don't understand it. Myles Garrett.
That one I'll fight back on.
Okay.
That one I'll fight back on.
I think he's the current defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Whose team gives up 17 more points on the road than they do at home. And in the playoff game, as a favorite on the road to the Texans, you would have thought I was playing defensive end for the Cleveland Browns. That's how much of a non-factor he was.
I know. It was a long season. I'm not going to hold it against him. No, he knew. He's like, I got Joe Flacco. We're done. The season's done. There's no Flacco magic in the playoffs for us. He knew it. He just took it easy. That's actually nuts that you said that he's overrated, because I feel like after the Myles Garrett thing, like everybody or after the Mason Rudolph thing where he hit him in the head with a helmet, I feel like everybody like turned on him.
Oh yeah. Do you know in my lifetime as a football fan, and most recently, the most overrated player was Ezekiel Elliott. Dude had 1 good season.
Facts.
His rookie year.
With possibly the best offensive line that's been assembled in the last 20 years.
Anyone that listens to
Probably.
VM, when Tony Pollard was a rookie, right away I was like, yo, he's the better running back. And everyone's like, yo, you're a Cowboy hater. You hate Dallas. You hate this. I'm like, bro, it's the eye test. He just looks better. It's the same situation. One guy gets 2 yards a carry. The other one gets 8. It's like sometimes you don't need to. I used to say the same shit when Aaron Jones was young with the Packers when I first started VM.
Right.
And they'd be like, PFF would be like, oh, Jamal Williams and all these other guys, the 80 Laceys of the world. It's like, no, bro, this guy's better. I don't care what your grades are. Just watch the games.
Yeah.
And I hate being a watch the game guy because sometimes I feel like that's
true.
really ignorant to like say that to people.
No,
But
it's not ignorant at all. It's the truth.
Just,
How else am I supposed to?
It's just the eye test, bro. Like I feel like it's the eye test. And you know what? To me, I think the most overrated was him. It was Ezekiel Elliott. Another guy I could tell you off the top of my head. We're still waiting for Kyle Pitts to be something.
Oh my God,
bro! This is year 4
but
or 5. How many years has he been in?
Here's
the
the thing: he was overrated 2 years ago, and it just turns out that he sucked. I think you get 2 years of being called overrated, and then you're just, I guess, sucks not the right word, but you just,
This is year.
You're not good.
This is going to be year 4 for him. That we've been waiting for him to be this like thing, right?
Yeah, but he's underrated at this point. If he was to pop off, people would be like, "Oh, the most underrated player to pop off." Guarantee you, some fucking company would write that.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. Give me another name that you have.
Brandon Ayuk. I think Brandon Ayuk is extremely overrated. I think he's a system superstar. I think you can put just about anybody out there that can catch passes and is faster than Deebo Samuels, and they would look great. He is a system superstar. Brandon Ayuk is overrated. The 49ers paid him, though. So that's the way I feel. I think it works out based in the Shanahan system. I think outside of that, I think he's a very mid-tier receiver. Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is overrated. It kind of falls into the line of like a quarterback that's gotten a lot of love throughout the years. I look at him as somebody who always just gets out at the right time, right? Left the Redskins at the right time. Obviously, the injury with Minnesota, but he also kind of saw the writing on the wall. That last year that he was fully healthy, he was like, okay, I just have to be good enough to throw a 3rd and 18 pass to Justin Jefferson anywhere in the 12-foot radius of him, and we'll be okay. But he needs that in order to be extremely successful, and I don't think that's going to happen this year with the Falcons. I think he's overrated. I think there's nothing truer than the Falcons drafting a quarterback that shows you're overrated. You're overrated. We paid you, but we got your backup literally a month later. You're overrated. So I think the Falcons even told us he was. And then my third player I had was Joey Bosa. So, yeah. It blows my mind. Josh Allen, Tua, and Hurts. How do you say Jalen Hurts is overrated?
You know what?
I mean,
you know what drives me crazy?
Stretch Tua, I can see.
Why is it his fault? Why is it Brock Purdy's fault that they got drafted to the teams that they got drafted to?
Right. Got to stop hating.
Yeah, you lucked out. You went to the team. Like, bro, you know what people forget? The Chiefs were really good before Mahomes got there, but they became great when he got there. Like when he took over. This team was winning double-digit games with Alex Smith and Andy Reid there. They were making the playoffs. They were a good team. When he got there, it unlocked the playbook, and now we've seen them in an AFC championship every year, and they won 3 Super Bowls.
Yep.
Right? So, like, yeah, it unlocks everything when he gets there. But to me, I can't blame you for going to the right situation. We've talked about it so many times. In any sport, we've had CJ Watson on. He says it. Brandon Marshall said it when I had him on the show. Everyone says it, that so much is luck. Where you get drafted to, bro. You might get drafted to a team where they're going to give you 24 shots a game. Then you're going to have 30 points a game.
Right.
You might go to a situation where you're going to have 4 looks and maybe 3 of them should be shots. You're going to average 3.2 points per game for the first 4 years.
That's all you're doing.
And then you're asked out.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is just situational and where you end up. And I think Jalen Hurts falls victim to that because that team is really good and they draft well and they develop well. And then they also trade well. Like, I guarantee you Philly at some point during the season, like week 7 or 8, they're going to get some veteran that's still good. All right. Last year,
Michael
Bayer didn't work out last year when they got him from the Titans.
For sure.
But at the time, we're like, how the hell did Roseman get this guy too?
Yep.
So with Jalen Hurts, they just develop well, man, and it's a good organization. They do it the right way. So I can't fault them. I think this. Look, and I think the thing with Tua, the reason why Tua gets heat is because if it ain't 80 degrees and sunny, he's gonna look pedestrian out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. This kind of veered off a little bit. I mean, we were talking about overrated people.
But you said Ayuk, right? So
Yeah.
I want to go back to that because he just got paid.
It's a good segue.
He signed a $120 million extension, staying with the Niners, 4-year extension. He's 26 years old, former first-round pick. And now he is a top 5 wide receiver based on salary. The value of the contract is $120 million. Guaranteed is $45 million. The wide receivers that have gotten paid this year, George, are Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, your boy St. Brown, Ayuk, A.J. Brown got extended, Calvin Ridley got extended, Jalen Waddle got extended, Devontae Smith got a contract, Nico Collins got a contract, Michael Pittman, $70 million. Like, a lot of guys have gotten paid.
Yeah.
And then there's Jamar Chase, who
Dun, dun, dun.
is still waiting on a contract. He's still waiting to get paid, and he wants to get paid. And I think what happens, it's the same shit that happened when Deshaun Watson got the contract.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, whenever a new guy gets paid, all the other owners got to be miserable because to like, fuck, this guy got paid, now my guy's going to be complaining. Or if my guy got paid before and now this guy gets paid, they'll be like, yo, our contracts can't be the same. And then that's why they go into, like, Tyreek Hill just renegotiated for a new deal.
Yeah.
And it happens over and over again.
Yeah. Trent Williams is another one. I know that's not a receiver, but same exact situations. That's just the business of it, man. The fact that he hasn't gotten signed, though, are you at all concerned with the way that this is being handled with the Bengals? Like,
well, before we get to that, how do you feel about Ayuk signing with the Niners?
I mean, I think, like I said earlier, he's a system player. So in order for the 49ers to give relief to George Kittle, to give relief to Christian McCaffrey, they need that option. I thought Deebo Samuels would definitely be able just to carry the load himself, but they felt like they needed that deep threat person that you can rely on with Ayuk. I don't know, bro. I think they are in a great situation. So they're like, all right, let's keep it together. Let's make our first round draft pick, his dreams come true. I would imagine that's what every franchise likes to do. Especially, we discussed it in a previous show, only 22% of rookie receivers re-sign with their team. So he's in a very small exception, along with all those other receivers that you laid out that they performed extremely well. Maybe this is just a really good batch of receivers and you can't miss out on it, or you're afraid of losing him. So, good for the 49ers. I don't know who this necessarily is going to hurt down the road, but they've made it a point to get all these skill players signed. What does Brock Purdy get?
Well, it's the biggest luxury you could have in professional sports. It's having a rookie quarterback on a contract, but also having a good rookie quarterback on a contract, because the Giants had a rookie quarterback on a contract and ain't shit happened.
Yeah.
Right? Carson Wentz was on a rookie contract when Philly won the Super Bowl. Pat Mahomes was on a rookie contract. Joe Burrow was on a rookie contract when they went to the Super Bowl. You look at the history of the league recently, you could look at the quarterback that makes the Super Bowl, win or lose, and there's almost like a direct parallel between, he's on a rookie deal. Russell Wilson with the Seahawks went to 2 of them.
Was Aaron Rodgers on a rookie contract?
Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if he was on a rookie contract, but he was like his 3rd year starting.
Could have been his contract year.
It could, yeah. It might have been. It might have been. Well, he started 3 years after he got drafted, and then after that, it was 3 years after that, because he got drafted in 04, and then in 10 they won the Super Bowl, right? But Ben Roethlisberger Eli Manning early on, 2007. Like, yo, you look Cam Newton. Like, these guys are on rookie deals. It's very rare where you see a Matt Ryan, like year 9, making it to a Super Bowl.
Peyton.
At least recently, right?
Yeah.
So Brock Purdy and the Niners are like, yo, our window is now, bro. McCaffrey's 28. He still got he got like another year left of like, oh shit, McCaffrey's the number 1 player in fantasy. Trent Williams is up there in age.
Yeah.
And this is what you do. You have a quarterback that's young. Like Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl on his rookie deal. And then he got paid, and then kind of the team fell apart, right? So it's not only the rookie quarterback, it's a good rookie quarterback on a contract.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at there with the Niners. But I want to talk about Jamar Chase. And
man.
Jamar Chase hasn't gotten paid yet. And you know who Duke Tobin is?
Duke Tobin. I actually had it here on my Google sheet that I made for the season. He operates as the de facto GM and the director of players personnel for the Bengals because they do not have a GM by title.
Yeah. So what I want to do now is I want to role play.
That's yo.
Okay.
Pause.
Yeah. We gotta remember who we're associated with.
What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Nick?
So I'm gonna be Jamar Chase.
Okay.
You're gonna be Duke Tobin.
All right.
And I'm gonna walk into your office for contract negotiations.
All right.
I got
so
this. I'm gonna get up
this.
and I'm gonna step out the studio and then I'm gonna come in and you're gonna be Duke Tobin. I'm gonna be Jamar Chase.
Got it.
All right.
All right. Perfect, dude. All right, Duke Tobin. I gotta pretend to send some emails. I've never heard Duke Tobin speak, but I'm gonna go with Southern. I think Southern for Duke is probably gonna work. I love me some Cincinnati football and Joe Burrow and the Bengals ball. Who dey, baby? Who dey? Jamar.
Good to see you, man.
Great to see you. That's a firm handshake. You've been working out, Jamar. You've been working out.
Feeling great. Everything is good. I'm here to discuss my contract.
Jamar, I was just about to call my receptionist and tell her I need you in here because, we need to get this signed.
Are you ready to discuss?
100% ready to discuss it. Did you get the thing that we forwarded your agent?
No, but I have something else I'm looking for.
Sally, can we get a water, please? Water for Jamar? Sparkling or still?
This is what I want to show you.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a photo of Brandon Ayuk.
Now, I hate the 49ers too. I'm glad you ripped it up.
I'm not playing Sunday if this fucking guy got paid and I haven't. So you got to figure it out, Duke.
Jamar, you know we're going to get this worked out. I called Jerry Jones, and he loaned me some extra money, and it'll be wired to you shortly.
This is what Jamar Chase should do.
Yeah, that's exactly that.
Jamar Chase should do exactly what we just did now. He's got to go into the office with a picture of Brandon Ayuk, with a picture of Jalen Waddle, with a picture of who else has gotten paid recently? Devontae Smith. Michael Pittman. He needs a photo of all these dudes, rip it up in front of the GM and be like, bro, I'm not playing week 1 until I get my paper. Because this is wild. Brandon Ayuk is the 4th option on the 49ers. And you could argue and cry about it all you want. Brock Purdy's first reads are McCaffrey and George Kittle. And then when Trent Williams and Debo isn't in the lineup, the team is like 0-6. Their splits are crazy. Ayuk had a career year last year. But again, he had 1,300 yards on 75 catches. And he's the 4th option on the team. He doesn't command double coverage. He doesn't draw number 1 defensive assignments to him.
No.
It's literally everyone else I mentioned before that. And Jamar Chase, since he got in the league, even last year without Joe Burrow, 1,000-yard receiver, he's catching over 80 passes a year, is the number 1 focal point of the Bengals offense from day 1 when he stepped on the field. We know about the relationship that him and Burrow have back in LSU. They broke all the records, and now they've been doing really well together at the next level. And he's had 1,400 yards, 1,000 yards, and 1,200 yards, and he's commanding double coverage when he doesn't play, T. Higgins' numbers are not better. They're worse because what do defenses do? You got Higgins and Chase. Ah, shit, we got to roll coverage over to the side that Chase is on. T. Higgins gets number 2 coverage.
Is he worth?
They had Tyler Boyd also at the time. Remember him also because he's not there anymore. Jamar Chase gets number 1 coverage that allows everyone else to eat off him, and he's still productive. So if I'm Jamar Chase, I'm not playing until you pay me, bro. You can't have these other guys making the money, and I'm not getting paid yet. And you look at the top receivers list, like we mentioned, in my opinion, it's Jefferson and then him as the 2 best receivers in football. And then I'd go Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Those are my top 3 receivers.
Top 3.
And then CeeDee Lamb is 4. And again, it's all preference, but
St. Brown.
This guy, man, he's unbelievable. He should be paid as the top receiver in the league. It's not like Darius Slayton is asking for this money. He's the number 1 receiver. He's the number 1 target. Draws number 1 attention.
Yeah.
And if I'm Jamar Chase, it has to be a power move where, yo, I'm not playing, bro. I'm not playing until you pay me.
Yeah. This is the straight up comparison between what happened in the NBA there for a while. I remember there would be like years where you have your superstars who aren't signing until very late. But then you have people like freaking Danilo Gallinari signing for $80 million in a 3-year deal, and you're like, wait, what is going on here? What's happening? I know he's gonna play. I mean, he showed up in street clothes week 1 or practice 1.
Yeah. He showed up to practice. Yeah,
10 minutes late in street clothes. I don't think he's going to sit out. It's not going to happen.
No, I don't think he's going to sit out either. I'm saying he should sit out. That's what I'm getting at. He should sit out and not play until he gets paid. Because, remember, man, like, you don't want to wish this on anyone, but what happens if he goes out there week 1, hasn't gotten paid, and God forbid dude gets hurt? Then it's a nightmare. And your money already isn't guaranteed. So if I'm him, I'm not playing, bro. I'm going to Joe Burrow. I'm talking to him like, yo, we got to do something. You got to help me get paid. They already haven't paid T. Higgins. And don't forget, the Bengals are historically a cheap franchise.
Yeah.
They got Joe Burrow, and now they're popping.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a team that's like a historically great franchise and an organization that has a great reputation. They got one now because they got Burrow and they got a quarterback, right? So I think if you're Chase, you have to do that, man. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your assets. And he is an unbelievable talent, and I think he's a top 3 wide receiver in the league.
I agree with everything you just said, except he should play. Because if he doesn't, the Patriots' money line is in play.
And, dude, they play the Chiefs week 2.
Ooh.
So if they stumble this week, which I'm not saying they're going to stumble, but we'll get to that pick in a little bit, I do think it's going to be a pretty close game. If some crazy shit happens, I know I was telling Jeremiah before we started recording this, and I was tweeting about it, how Bengals are probably going to be like, what would you say, 75% taken in Survivor this week? Yeah, right? Well, higher, 80%, 90%. Like, it's the biggest spread on the board. Bengals last 2 years, 0-4 in Septembers. Mm-hmm. So it's not the best track record. But if they slip up against the Pats, like I would do this if I was him. I'd be like, yo, I'm not playing. And then they drop that game, and then they play Kansas City, fall to 0-2. Woo! You never know, man.
$200 million guaranteed.
He needs to protect himself and do the right thing. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about the Ayuk situation. Me calling him a number 4 option, and then if you guys were Jamar Chase, if you guys would want to do this, I think he should. I'm curious to see what the feedback's going to be on this one. Okay, Patreon roll call. We're at 73 members of the Patreon. And again, if you are a member of the Patreon, you win double the prize in the weekly contest. Shout out to Dylan Chadwick, just pledged for another year. We got you for another 365.
Shout out Dylan.
Thank you so much for your contributions to the Patreon. Patreon.com/veteransminimum. We got Mahul Patel, Daniel Gibson, Abel Rezin, Ben Coetzee, Christopher Velasquez, Derek Platees, Dylan Chadwick, like we mentioned, Jerry Shapiro, Jordan Riley, Mike Stevens, Nick Crummich, and Thomas Robinson. Thank you all for your contributions to the Patreon. And shout out to Mark, who upgraded to the Veterans Minimum tier on Patreon. You get access to the Discord, the betting picks that are starting up again this week, merch discount, shout outs, all that fun stuff. Okay, George.
It's time for some picks, yeah?
Week one. We are here. We've arrived.
Yes.
And where do you want to start, man?
Well, I know we want to get into the picks, but I really like that first topic.
Okay.
Because we started talking about it on the NFL preview show.
Present the topic.
Who would a second ring matter more to? Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford? When you presented this to me, I was pretty confident on one side, but I want to hear what you have to say.
This all sparked the conversation because I was watching CJ Stroud on a podcast, and he said that his favorite quarterback is Matthew Stafford. And then if you go back a couple years ago during the pandemic when Aaron Rodgers was doing the McAfee show, and this was, I believe, when Stafford first got to the Rams, and there was the hype behind them. My Super Bowl pick, 15-1, you're welcome. And they started winning, and they were playing well. And I believe he threw like 38 or 39 touchdowns that year. Cooper Kupp was running wild. Odell got there. And he said, Matty's been doing all the shit that people foam at the mouth for Mahomes about. He's been doing that since Georgia. But he's on a 4-5 win team in Detroit, and no one cares.
Yeah.
I think he had like 75 straight games or something ridiculous, like 4 seasons without a 100-yard rusher. Like Reggie Bush got there.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Javid Best?
Yeah.
Javid Best from like Cal, right? He went to Cal, right? Yeah. He was supposed to be like the savior. Like, dude had no running game, right? And they played in the same division. Now they're no longer in that division. They both have one championship. One guy has a bunch of accolades in the sense of Aaron Rodgers has 1 Super Bowl, 5 All-Pros, 4 MVPs, 10 Pro Bowls, right? Both have they're closing in. Probably this year, they're both going to get over 60,000 career yards. One has 56,000 in Matthew Stafford. Rodgers has 59,000. Rodgers is 148 and 75. Matthew Stafford is 98 and 107. Rodgers is 13 and 4 against them. And it's because this team was terrible in Detroit. He never had a good defense. The one thing that Detroit was known for all these years, up until like this Dan Campbell era that has kind of sparked a lot of people's interest in the Lions, was their best players ever retired early because they didn't want to play for them.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders and Megatron, Calvin Johnson. And then they get rid of Matthew Stafford. He goes to LA, immediately wins the Super Bowl. And people are like, oh shit, Matthew Stafford's good, huh? Yeah. It's like, yeah, he's been good. But again, what were we talking about before? Circumstance, situation, talent around you. This dude was on a shitty team basically his whole career in Detroit, goes to the Rams, and now has been successful, right? Even last year, their win total was like 6.5, and they surpassed that, made the playoffs, came down to the last drive against the Lions. Ironically enough, they play each other again Sunday Night Football this week. And I was just thinking, man, I think that everyone already has Rodgers in the GOAT conversation, or as far as as a talent, right? And his individual accolades have been amazing. I've defended Rodgers so many times by saying, dude has 4 playoff losses in which he tied the game in the fourth quarter or sent it to overtime, and then he just never touched the ball again. Remember, he threw the 2 Hail Marys against the Cardinals, sent it to overtime, and then Larry Fitzgerald breaks a tackle, and he never gets the ball back. That's a loss on his record. He's had 300-yard games, 3 touchdowns in the playoffs, and it's a loss for him. They had another shootout with the Cardinals in 2009 when they went to the Super Bowl. The Cardinals did. And it's like, dude had 5 touchdowns, I think he accounted for. And they lose in overtime. And it's like, this is what we blame. The Seattle loss, right? They blow the lead there, and they get into overtime. Jeremy Curse on the Seahawks scores the touchdown. Never touches the ball. So we credit this guy with the loss. So Rodgers already has like the MVPs, and everyone says he's one of the best talents ever. But I think Stafford would benefit more with a second ring.
I would say that because of the case you just made for how similar they are, and I know you're placing Rodgers on a pedestal, he needs a second one because you don't want to be put in that same category of, bro, yeah, sure, everybody thought you were big time, but whenever we do the stat comparison, you are going to be pulled up next to Matt Stafford. Not saying that's a bad thing to be pulled up into that, but you want to separate yourself to really start cementing that you were one of the GOATs in this era. I don't think Matt Stafford could even reach that if he was to win another ring. I still think people would look at Aaron Rodgers above him.
Even with him winning a second ring?
Mm-hmm. I just think it's because Aaron Rodgers has that aura, you know?
Yeah.
And he's had way more big-time moments. And he was more of a winning quarterback, as you had stated in the records.
So I think legacy-wise, Stafford definitely benefits more from a second ring.
Mm-hmm.
Because then he has two. He has one more than Rodgers. Because like you said, right, he has the MVPs. Stafford has no all-pros because they're not going to give you an all-pro when your team wins 6 wins.
Facts.
They're not going to do that. And Rodgers has been 1 seeds. He's had bye weeks. He's gone in as a wild card team and cleaned up. I'm pretty sure they were a wild card team the year that they won the Super Bowl because it was Jay Cutler.
Yep,
it was with the Bears.
it was.
And Cutler didn't play in the NFC title game. So I will say this, though. Rodgers wins the Super Bowl with the Jets like I've predicted.
He will be.
That's going to feel like he tied Brady.
Idolized. Yeah. Bro,
That's going to
for
feel
real.
That's going to feel as if he has 7 championships because the Jets have been such a dumpster fire since like Joe Namath. And you win there, bro, like winning in New York is crazy, especially living there. You realize, man, I miss Eli Manning. I miss that man so much.
Did you see that what they did to announce the Manning cast this year? They did like a 10-minute video on ESPN.
I did see that. And he also just got on Instagram recently, Eli Manning.
Really?
And it's like one of those things where you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Have you DM'd him yet?
Nah, but there's him and Stone Cold are the 2 people I want to meet. And I'm going to just be like, yo, I love you. I'm going to like gaze into their eyes.
You should first DM him that. So then you could be like, no, I said this to you like 6 years ago, but you never read it.
You never replied to me. Yeah.
But I did say that 6 years ago.
But dude, if Rodgers wins in New York for the Jets.
You already said the city's burning down.
It's going to be like, bro, it's going to be wild. And I think Jet fans are crazier than Giant fans just because they've been miserable their whole lives and they've struggled. They haven't had no success. Where like the Giants have won 4 Super Bowls since the 80s. And they've been, outside of the last decade, they've always been like a model franchise. They've always been a good franchise. And the Jets have just been a laughingstock, rotating quarterbacks, having the butt fumble, having terrible losses, embarrassing losses. Like, fucking Fireman Ed is like their number 1 fan. And he like stopped going to games, dude. Like boycotted the team, right? They've missed on quarterback after quarterback after quarterback in the first round. So, if you win in New York, it'll be like, it would feel as if he's won multiple championships. But yeah, man, it was just an interesting combo. You know, I put it up on the poll and it was 53-47 in favor of Rodgers. And it got like close to like 250 votes on my poll, which is a lot for me, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And people were thinking, you know, like they never thought about it. And again, it's because he played on a shitty team, man. The guy he hasn't been seen because he played on Detroit, and you'd see him on Thanksgiving, and they'd be 9-point underdogs.
Dude,
so no one
even now,
expected
his
them to win.
wife's more popular than he is.
Yeah, well, she says something outrageous. So
I know he never says anything outrageous.
Yeah.
He's got 0 Riz on the mic.
0 Riz, yeah.
He's got 0 Riz.
So I'm going with Stafford and meaning more. You're going with Rodgers?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right.
He needs it, bro. I mean, shit, dude. I was in elementary school when he won his last title. At least with Stafford, I'm like, oh, recently it happened. He's good, you know? He definitely needed that one.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. I'm excited for both of them this year, and I love watching both of them play. They're both awesome. All right. Week 1 picks. I want to have fun with this, bro. I want to introduce sort of like, you know how last year we were having like funny nicknames for them.
Ursulita was one of them.
Yeah. Obviously you have like your locks and all that, but I want to kind of, for like brand association, kind of have fun with this one. So Ursulita is back. Ursulita was voted one of the ugliest names it was voted the ugliest name in 2021. So if your name is Ursulita, blame your parents.
That's tough.
Fun fact, Ursula Cordero played Tokyo in Money Heist, one of my favorite shows of all time. I had a poster of her on my wall. Great girl.
So it's
like it's tough. Yeah,
it's up in the air.
It's like I think of like a shitty name, but then I think of her. So it's like,
yeah, you know, you could look past it.
You could look past that. Yeah. Listen, every now and then, it's gonna be rough.
That is true.
Every now and then, it's not gonna be a 10. Shit's gonna happen.
Especially in the name department.
Yeah, in the name department. So Ursulita is gonna be the ugliest pick of the week, but you have to play it, right? You have to play it. And sometimes ugly ones are a good time. It delivers.
I'll tell you. They hit, bro.
We used to have a running joke, my friends and I. It's like, listen, man, every now and then you got to play the Jaguars.
That's great.
This is when the Jaguars would win.
Great.
This is when they had like Blake Bortles and they'd win like 4 games a year. It's like, listen, bro, sometimes the Jaguars are on your schedule. You gotta show up.
Dog, it's like,
it's not always going to be New England in prime time. It's the London game and Blake Bortles. Yeah, so
I go college football. It's Arkansas Pine Bluff this past week. You know, it's a tune-up game. It's a tune-up game.
What's your Ursulita pick of the week?
My Ursulita pick of the week, Nick, is I have the under on Sunday Night Football. Lions versus Rams. You hate doing it. You know you want to click the over because it's Sunday Night Football and you want to be entertained. I'm telling you, primetime unders are something that if you do it week 1, you'll get psychologically conditioned to doing it the rest of the year, and you won't get into that, oh, I'm chasing, oh, I want a cool high-scoring game at the end of the week. So take the under week 1, the under 51.5 Sunday Night Football, Lions, Rams. I hate it for so many reasons, Nick. It's bad, right? Because the Lions, they are a risky team, and they put up a shit ton of points last year, and they also gave up a lot of points. And the Rams, well, you know, they got Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, who we're excited to see, you know, run it back for round 2. And we've been talking about Matt Stafford for like literally 15 minutes. So I think there's going to be a lot of points. You still got to take the under. What about you?
Well, I want to touch on that because no one likes taking unders, bro, for anything.
I know.
Because you're basically rooting for
just mediocrity.
Not a good time, right? You're rooting for, it's like when you bet a decision in the UFC. It's kind of similar to betting unders. Yeah. You don't want points. You don't want knockouts. You don't want submissions. It's kind of lame, bro. Like no one ever is excited to tell you that, oh, I'm so happy they kicked the field goal. No, we want points.
Yeah, bro. It's tough, especially in prime time.
And dude, you know, like there was a trend on like Thursday Night Football, I think, last year. Or no, primetime unders. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just primetime unders.
Primetime unders last year were crushing, dude. At one point, I think it was like 37-12 to the under.
And you know,
I remember vividly because I took an under, and then it was the Bears Commanders game, which they scored like 75 points. It was the two shittiest teams. I was like, oh, of course, man. If the trend was gonna go over now, it's because I bet it. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I kind of like that. Prime time, you know, these two teams, it's a rematch from the playoff game last year. The Lions are 35-16 in the last 3 years against the spread. It's the best record of any team in a 3-year stretch since the Patriots in 16-18.
Isn't that crazy?
And you know, and mind you, this is some team that was like not that good not too long ago, but they were covering a lot of the games that they were losing. And sometimes, you know, good teams win, great teams cover, right? And the most profitable quarterback against the spread in week 1 over the last 20 years is Jared Goff, who's undefeated. He is undefeated against the spread. And unders with Sean McVay, when the games go under Sean McVay, the Rams are 6-1 straight up and against the spread week 1, and they've covered by more than 9 points per game.
This is a battle of the Titans, bro.
Yeah, this is gonna be. That's
why
you
got to take the under. You got to just take the under, and you just got to
Sunday Night Football.
Just hang on.
Ursulita play of the week. And boy, when I tell you this one's fucking ugly, this one is ugly. The Carolina Panthers.
Oh, God, Nick.
You know what? How about this? You could have the points. Money line, baby. Carolina starting off the year 1-0. Bryce Young. There's already rumblings that Dennis Allen is like plus 280 to be the first coach fired. I know you laid out the blueprint for that.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Which we need to have happen. In his coaching career, Allen is 24-46 straight up. Worst among active coaches. He's horrible. He's with Steve Spagnuolo, Hugh Jackson, Pat Shurmur, Gus Bradley. The Saints haven't made the playoffs in 3 straight years. People are already kind of fed up with Derek Carr in New Orleans, and I see it already, bro. Panthers are going to go down the field. They're going to score a touchdown. Everyone's going to feel good. He's going to throw a pick. They're going to come down, kick a field goal, 10-0. Game's over. Game's over. They ain't coming back. They're going to start booing them. They're going to bring in your boy. What's your boy, the backup that you mentioned? Light skin that you said?
Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler is going to come in to save the day.
We may bring out Jake Hayner from Fresno State.
Dude.
Jake, maybe. I don't know.
Yo.
The future's so
listen to this.
Fucking dull in New Orleans. It's gross.
Listen to this one. The Carolina Panthers didn't snap the ball while leading in the fourth quarter of a single game last year. The first team to do this in the wild card era. They literally didn't play with a lead in the fourth quarter. And the amount of rookie mistakes that Bryce Young was making, and we spoke about how I bet them at 15-1 to win the division. I think this is one of those games that they need to get. Start off nice. Dave Canales is now in there. I think he's going to do some good things for Carolina. And this is just a spot where I don't think you're getting 4.5. I like it. It's going to be one of my picks for sure in the contest that I'm doing. I mean,
right.
And I'm predicting them to win on the money line, man. I think they go in there and you'll see the headlines like, oh, maybe Carolina, can they be the worst of first team? Well, the networks are going to be talking about it.
True.
And just know that we said it here first. We said it here first.
You said it.
He said I'm going with Carolina. It's Ursulita, play of the week. It's ugly. It's gross, but we have to play it plus 4.5. Can I tell you the one you have to trust me on?
Okay. All right. This is the Trust and Lamb pick.
Trust and Lamb, right? For those that don't know, my friend group back home, there was 4 Nick D's, so everyone had a nickname. My nickname was Lamb because I'm Greek, so everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Nick Lamb." The amount of people that think Lamb is my last name, it's
crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, there's a bunch of people, right? So you got to trust me on this one. You have to ride with me on this one. You have to play this one. The Colts are 2.5 point underdogs at home against the uber popular Houston Texans. Since 2008, the Colts are pretty shitty against AFC South opponents in week 1. They're 0-6 against the spread.
Oh my God.
So this is not, we're not leading off with a lot of great hope in this one.
Yeah, but those are past
That's
years.
in the past,
That's
right?
In the past,
We're here.
Nick.
This is what I'm factoring in, right? This team last year, George, this was a rematch of the Week 18 game that the Texans had to beat the Colts with Gardner Minshew in order to make the playoffs. That was a close game, bro. And now
Super close.
Now you have Anthony Richardson coming in with not a lot of buzz, not a lot of hype. He's still raw and kind of an unknown. Where it's been the CJ Stroud blowfest for 9 months now. Not even for like a year now. And the odds of them winning the Super Bowl have drastically changed. In the Super Bowl era, only 3 teams have had the gap shorten as far as their odds from the year before to win the Super Bowl to this year. So last year they were 200-1 to win the Super Bowl. Now they're 15-1. This has only happened 3 other times in NFL history. And I think what I'm betting on here, it's the Colts at home, excitement. They're undervalued, I think, at home. You have Anthony Richardson, and you have an overhyped team in the Texans coming in. And this is the first time that they're favored to win the opening game of the season since 2017 when Deshaun Watson was the quarterback.
Yeah, J.J. Watt. I think they were coming off of that hurricane that hit. Like that was
I think
prime
you're right.
Captain Watt. was activated.
And they lost that game 29-7 to the Jaguars. And Houston hasn't opened the season as a road favorite since 2013. So I'm betting on the fact that a lot of people are excited for the Texans. And CJ Stroud is 3-5 against the spread as a favorite. So I'm going with the Colts. You have to play the Colts. You have to trust me on this one.
You got to trust in the Lamb. You got to trust in the Lamb on this one.
What is your pick?
What is the trust in captain? Because in my friend group,
Captain George.
Captain George. Xbox name, Captain George. So Raiders +3. There's no need to like think twice about this. Raiders are going to embarrass the Chargers. Week 1, Jim Harbaugh is going to take a loss. I have never seen like a Raiders team go like this. I would say like under the radar. Like I feel like in past, when they got Jimmy G, I feel like they were in the news and there was rumblings. Like Gardner Minshew hasn't garnered like that level of attention. They're low key, bro. This could possibly be the best Raiders team in the last 8 years, in my opinion. That's just the way that I feel based on the defense. Give me the Raiders +3. I'm in love. I'm in love with this process. I've got to play against Max Crosby and NBA 2K Pro-Am over the summer. So I think this is just like he dominated me in video games. He's going to dominate in real life.
Okay.
He shared the Instagram story that I posted too of that. So yeah, I'm going Raiders +3. Trust the captain on this.
Isaiah dominated me is kind of wild, right? That was kind of crazy.
No.
Listen, yeah, you got to be
you
careful.
You wanted to role play earlier.
Touche, bro. Touche. Yo, listen, man, I kind of like that one, right? I'm not going to bet it, but you got to think Raider fans going to SoFi, it's going to be 70% Raider fans.
Oh, yeah.
80%?
Yeah, bro.
I think I like it. I like it. I'll tell you this. I wouldn't bet the Chargers. It's a dog or pass situation for me there.
Correct.
Right? I would only take that. Justin Herbert has made 63 starts in his NFL career. He is 30-33 straight up. He is 32. He's 32-30-1 against the spread. Your boy Gardner Minshew, as an underdog and as a favorite, he is 9-4 straight up in his career when he's listed as the betting favorite. He is 6-18 straight up as an underdog. 1-14 straight up in his last 15 starts as an underdog for your boy, the Gardner. So history is not on your side. But then again,
that's a different team. That's different. This is.
Listen,
we
live in the now.
I'm wearing Raider black and silver right now, brother. All right,
we live in the now.
Trust the captain.
We live in the now. Okay, let me ask you this: who in your opinion do you think is the most beautiful woman you've ever seen in your life?
Cameron.
Ah, you bastard.
Cameron.
That was good.
No. Hey, she ain't gonna watch this shit. Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie. I had to think about it for literally half a second.
Margot's. Hey.
Yeah.
Great girl.
Oh, top notch.
Top of the food chain.
Margot. Ugly name. Great girl.
Great girl. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I think prime Adriana Lima.
Mint.
Bro, generational talent.
Yeah. She's first round draft.
One of
5 stars out of high school.
She's like Andrew Luck coming out of Stafford. You knew that from freshman year. Dude was going to be the number 1 pick. We're trading the farm for her. So the reason why I say this is Adriana, it's the most beautiful pick on the board. It's your favorite pick of the board.
Yes.
It's the great girl pick of the of the week. Jets. As Jeremiah, the Jets fan, is waving us off.
We're together on this one, bro.
This is why we will be remembered. This is why we're going to be remembered. You know what? Ready for this?
Yeah.
Keep the points, baby. Money line.
Hammer it.
Hammer the money line.
Hammer the money line.
I think you're catching the Niners in a good spot here.
Oh, perfect.
I'm a little worried about their defense. I think they're going to regress a little bit. I think the Jets, you got to remember, now the Jets are stepping onto the field Monday Night Football where their season ended last year. They're stepping on the field Monday Night Football again in week 1, and they're going to look back and they'll be like, we got ivermectin boy back there. We got him back,
we got
baby.
ayahuasca.
We got ayahuasca Rogers.
Ooh.
We've improved our team. And look, this is what happens, I think, sometimes, right? People look at the opponent and they're like, damn, yo, the Niners are good. Well, so are the Jets, bro. Like the Jets they're a good team too.
Yes.
And I think having Rodgers there, I think it's a good spot. I like him as a dog in prime time. I like him as a dog in this spot here. And I'm leaning to them winning outright. It's my favorite pick on the board this week. I've been saying it. Shit, I'm pretty sure the line opened up months ago at like +6. And now it's at 4.5, 4 in most places. But yeah, man, I really like the Jets, and I think they set the tone. And I laid out the blueprint, dude. They win this game, they could run the table till about the Steeler game, week 7 or 8,
and then they get their bye week, right?
Their bye week comes week 12.
Oh, okay.
But I'm looking at that game as like that just seems like a Mike Tomlin rowdy spot. I think it's a primetime game. I'm pretty sure it's Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
I just like the Jets, man. I think they match up well with them.
I think
they're going to make some noise in primetime.
There is a psychological fear that will be placed into Brock Purdy. I don't care how many big games Brock Purdy has played. There's like playing a big game versus Aaron Rodgers. And I think in pregame warmups, there's going to be some daggers stared from A-Rod to Brock Purdy. Like, I'm the captain now. I think that will play a huge factor. Brock Purdy shits the bed. I love the Jets this week. Love them. So it's a Margot / Adriana pick of the week.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. I'm going on the money line. I've already put a money line parlay of Panthers and Jets. You get like +700.
That's nice.
It's nice, yeah. You have your 10 a.m. game, and then you wait until Monday night.
See, how do you feel about those? Like, truly though, those low key like are the worst, in my opinion. Like, I'm an instant gratification better. That's horrible to say.
Nah, man,
but
I used to do that. So like, you know how before we were talking about how in this line of work, how much I've matured as like a sports fan, and I've understood like how hard it is for you to win a championship. One thing that has really helped me is if I don't like a game, I'm not going to bet it. And if I do like 3 games and they just so happen to be the 10 a.m. game, the 1 p.m. game, and then it's the Monday night game, then so be it. This idea that you have to bet Sunday Night Football, like tomorrow, full transparency, or today if you're listening to the show, I'm not betting the Thursday Night Football game. There's nothing that I like. If it gets to 2.5 Chiefs, maybe. I like the Chiefs under a field goal, but at 3.5, I'm just staying away from that one. I'll just enjoy it as a fan. Kind of feel the same way about the Packers and Eagles game. But this idea that you have to bet because it's Thursday Night Football, that's something that I've done since I moved out here. And it's really helped, man. It's really helped because that's where I think it's a difference between gambling and betting. That approach is betting. Gambling is, bro, we gotta bet Thursday Night Football because it's the season opener. Come on, man. Like that's just me at least. Because I'm trying to take it a little bit. I'm trying to bet more this year, but bet less games.
Yeah,
and kind of do that approach.
I mean, these contests are gonna definitely help me out. Like, I'm literally in the mindset of like, if my futures don't hit and I don't win in the circa millions, like. So losing season 8, but I'm gonna try again next year.
That's all we could do. What do you got?
Yes. I saw here that you have one labeled dictator, and me being Cuban, I'm like, hey yo, like the dictator
we'll
pick
have
of
to
the
change
week.
this one. We'll have to change this one.
Explain it to me.
But basically, the rules of this one is like you have to play this. I don't care what you say. Like you can't swing me off this one.
It reminds me of
it's like my rules.
What my ancestors had to go through.
It's my rules.
Yes.
And that's it. Like my fantasy league, my friends used to call me a dictator because they'd rule on something. Like so we played in a fantasy league where we didn't have a tight end position. We played with 2 flex. And my friends would be like, bro, let's bring back the tight end. Nope, we're not doing it. Yeah, but we voted 9-1. You're the only. Nope, we're not doing it. So they were like, yo, Dictator Lamb. That was like my nickname in the fantasy circles. The Giants +1.5.
Wow.
Got to take the Giants, man. You can't. There's no chance. So both teams, I think, are down bad. I think both teams need to win this game because then both might not win another game until like week 7.
True.
And The Giants, the narrative is pretty shitty. Joe Schoen and Brian Dable with the Hard Knocks thing. They lose Saquon, Daniel Jones, though apparently Kay Adams is his girlfriend. She announced it on the pod.
Yeah. So he's been,
and we're
definitely had his head in the wrong place.
Listen, man. Daniel Jones, I wasn't familiar with your game, bro. This is a great girl.
Dude, Daniel Jones he looks like a goofball.
Yeah, but listen, he's pulling Kay Adams. That's my quarterback now. That's what I'm going with. I wasn't familiar with your game,
remind you
bro.
that you said that white women are 50 floors.
Yeah, but there's
below
exceptions.
Colombians.
There's exceptions to that.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Now there's exceptions.
There is
to the white women.
But the consensus.
Margot Robbie too.
Margot Robbie, yeah, Margot Robbie. But Sam Darnold is 22-33 against the spread in his NFL career. He's the fourth least profitable quarterback since he got drafted. And he's going back to the building in which he saw Ghost. And that, to me, they were not preparing for him to be the quarterback, and now he is the quarterback. I'm leaning towards the Giants. I think the Giants are plus 1.5. I prefer the Giants as underdogs as opposed to being favorites. Brian Dable is 22-13-1 against the spread. 63% ATS win percentage is the highest among head coaches over the last 20 years with a minimum of 10 games. And he's started 4 different quarterbacks while doing so. So the New York Giants at home plus 1.5. I'm taking that. I think they win outright. And that is the one where you can't tell me otherwise. I can't back my money on Sam Darnold as a road favorite. Just can't do it. Going back to a place where the conversation about him was terrible.
Yeah, I love the fact that you brought back up the Ghosts, because I think how early into the broadcast do they mention that?
Immediately.
Within the first drive?
Because
it's a good line to save late, if it's a fourth quarter game-winning drive, that's when, if you've saved it up till that point, that's money.
I think if they come out 3 and out, they're like, he's probably seeing Ghost again. Yeah, the Vikings come out 3 and out. I'll tell you this: Justin Jefferson props over.
Oh my God, yeah.
What
is he going to be at receptions wise? 10.5?
Nah, not 10. He'll probably be at 7.5. But I think he has over 100 yards. Probably scores a touchdown too. But this is the game where I think both quarterbacks, both receivers, Neighbors, I think should have a monster game too. But I'm leaning towards the Giants, man. What was yours?
My dictator play. You must play the Tennessee Titans. Take the points, though. Take the points. I do think this is going to be a dog fight. So Tennessee Titans getting 4 points, playing Caleb Williams and the Bears at home. Something just tells me that Bears culture, Hard Knocks, moment's a little too big for them. Now it's time to finally play against defenses that are really trying to tear your head off. And it's a moment that I have been predicting since Caleb Williams had a really rough go at the end of his senior season at USC. I was predicting that as soon as he enters the NFL, because of all this hype, people are going to be coming after him a little extra hard. That's why I love the Titans. I think you're going to get a really good rushing attack out of the Titans as well. I think their offensive line looks a lot better. Give me them. That's
okay.
Or you must take them. My bad. I'm the dictator.
No, listen. Caleb Williams will be the 6th rookie quarterback to start week 1 with a point spread of -3 or higher since the NFL merger. Those quarterbacks are 1-4 straight up and against the spread in those games. He's also the 19th first overall pick to start at quarterback in week 1 since the merger. Those quarterbacks are 5-12-1 against the spread in week 1.
Oh, I just love when you fucking back me up like that.
And they're 3-14-1 straight up. So I'll tell you this much, bro. If I would rather take them on the money line based on these numbers than to take them on the spread. You could get the Tennessee Titans as high as plus 190 on the money line. I will say that I'm leaning towards a lot of dogs this week. I think right now my early take for the 5 that I'm going to enter are all underdogs. So I do like the Titans play.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. If I had to pick a side, and that's the thing too, man. Like I talk about this all the time. Sometimes the best bet you make is the one you don't, right? Because like how we said with the Chargers and Raiders, I'm not playing the Chargers. I'll only play the Raiders in that spot.
There's certain teams that you definitely feel more confident about going into week 1 just based off of what we saw at the end of last year.
Sure. But then again, like one of the reasons why week 1 has the most overreactions, and again, the Monday show that we'll be filming is going to be Overreaction Monday to week 1. It's basically, we've had all this time. We've had 9 months of off-season conversations. We come into week 1 when football starts. And I mean, yo, you could tell right away, like if the number 1 pick for overreaction for week 1 is going to be the Friday night game. Packers Eagles. Because if the Packers lose, it's Jordan Love ain't shit. This team's not ready. Last year was a fluke. If the Eagles lose, it's Sirianni got to go. What Belichick doing? Jalen Hurts is overrated. Saquon sucks. Like those two, the extremes between the two is going to be the one that's going to be the most massive of any game, I think, week 1. Because you could poke holes in the other ones. Like, all right, the Colts lose. Maybe it's because Anthony Richardson, he's still not healthy, or, you know, what did you expect there?
Superstars in that matchup.
Yeah, where I think that Friday game, that's the one where people are going to lose their mind on what happens there. So the last one we have is this is why nobody will remember your name. It's basically, it's kind of fading the most popular pick. It's the one that people are like, yo, this is a lock. We're going the other way. This one could also be Ursulita.
I know. Okay. I didn't put mine in because I needed you to explain that to me.
So basically,
so
like,
hit me with yours.
So you know how over the summer I wrote on Action. Shout out to Action Network. I'm a big fan of that content that they had. They put up a post of Marvin Harrison Jr. and someone bet him to win MVP, right? And I wrote on the post, I was like, he's plus 800 to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. I feel like he should be the favorite. And someone said, bro, it's going to be Caleb Williams. It's chalk. And I just replied, this is why no one will remember your name. It's the Gladiator, I think it was. No, Troy. It was in Troy.
Definitely haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was in Troy, right?
I'll take it.
Yeah, I got the thumbs up from Jeremiah. Hashtag not a movie guy. But I remember that. So I wrote that to him, and then like so many, it got like 3,000 likes on that. So now I've been running with it. And the play this week, it's the New England Patriots. +9, +8.5. It's the biggest week 1 underdog that they've been in 20 years.
Jesus.
And obviously it's because, you know, Brady's not there anymore, and that's why they weren't underdogs all those years. It's the biggest. They have the worst odds to win the Super Bowl. It's bad in New England, right? But then you look at the other side. In the first 2 weeks, Burrow's 0-4 last 2 years. He's come in with
calf injuries
and whatnot.
He's not going to full
in his
training
career,
camp.
he's 2-6 against the spread in the first 2 games of the year. And then in game 3 or later, he's 34-16-1. I think the year that they went to the Super Bowl, they might have covered like 12 straight games. It was something ridiculous. It might have been the year after when they went to the conference championship. But he's like an amazing quarterback after. But again, he's coming into the year with injuries. Even this year, it's the hand. Yo, people are saying that there's never been a quarterback to have the injury that he has.
Really?
It's like something that ends like offensive linemen's careers and shit. It's more common with the offensive linemen, but I'm leaning towards New England. They're starting Jacoby Brissett, which I like, as opposed to Drake May. Again, this is something where everyone's going to tease them down to 2.5 for the Bengals. If it's at 8.5, we were talking about that before with Jeremiah about how this is a teaser zone. And I would just be careful, man. I would just be careful with this one. I'm only playing the Pats. I'm not playing the Bengals. So that's what I meant by like, this is not pretty, right? So like Ursulita and this one could kind of be the same.
Yeah,
and like
but
some
this
weeks
is,
you might not have it, but yeah,
I would say, based on what you're telling me with that, give me the Cardinals +6.5 against the Bills.
I like this one. So we had another topic as we're going to start to wind down the show.
Yeah.
I called it the toxic one. So the toxic one is always going to be the just be careful.
Right.
It looks good. She's hot. She's also a little crazy and wacky. Right?
It could include a couple of Josh Allen interceptions that you're not necessarily prepared for.
And also, how about this? How many people are going to play Buffalo -6 and then in contests and in parlays, money line parlay? Like this one will probably kill the most bettors.
100%.
So I would just say another example of I'm either playing the Cardinals or I'm not taking the Bills.
Very true. Very true. I would love to take the Cardinals here, but this is I need to see how good Marvin Harrison Jr. is week 1, because if he's really good, then I think it might be time to start overreacting, because like a good receiver in Arizona, I mean, I know they had D-Hop for a while, definitely gave you some good vibes and feels, but like a fresh rookie superstar, Larry Fitzgerald. Are we witnessing the beginning of the next Larry? That's what I'm going to be most excited to watch. Give me them. What you said, that was the toxic pick for you?
Yeah.
My toxic picks was Saints to cover.
Ooh, okay.
Against the spread.
Damn, you went up against Ursulita.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. I faced up against it, which is kind of crazy the way that played out.
So I'll just run through mine. My Ursulita pick is Panthers +4.5. I'm gonna take them on the money line. My Adriana, my favorite pick, the most beautiful one, is Jets +4. Also taking them on the money line. Trust in Lamb, you have to take this one. It's the Colts +2.5. The dictator in me, Giants +1.5. Be careful with the Bills -6. And this is why no one will remember your name, the Patriots +9.
I'll run through mine. Ugly Ursulita pick is going to be the under in Sunday Night Football, under 51.5, Lions versus Rams. My Adriana / Margot Robbie / Cameron, the best pick of the week, is going to be the Jets +4, just like the Lamb. Trust in the captain when I tell you that the Raiders are going to cover. I like them +3 against the Chargers. Dictator me is going to tell you to play the Tennessee Titans +4. Be careful with the Saints to cover against the Carolina Panthers. And nobody will remember your name because you're not playing the Cardinals against the Bills.
Love that.
Nick, we're back, dude.
We're back. Hey, subscribe, comment, rate, review, reshare the content, please. It goes a long way, as always. We have to call to action and make sure we reference that. Patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. As far as I go, it's at Nick Day is 10 as you can find me. All things Veterans Minimum is at Veterans Minimum. Remember, every Saturday, you're getting my favorite prop bets, my favorite anytime touchdowns. That's something we'll do moving forward. Every Wednesday show, we'll do 2 players each to score touchdowns.
Got it.
And we'll bet it every week.
I love it.
I'll bet it with my money, and I'll give you half.
That's
Fist.
my dog, dude.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So we'll be doing that.
Yeah.
But again, the Patreon, $5 a month. It's the best bang for your buck in sports betting. It's 16 cents a day. I know a lot of you guys, you spend money on way worse. So check it out, patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. And yeah, thank you all for listening. George, where can they find you?
At Mr. George Carmona is where you can find me this Saturday, ABC, 11 a.m. Arkansas takes on Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's ranked. Mike Gundy, they're going to be out there with the Cowboys and the Pistols. It's time to holster the guns.
What's the line on that?
Bro, I don't look.
9. Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Money line Arkansas, baby.
Dog. Hey, come on now.
Come on,
They
baby.
put it. They said 10
Let's
drives,
go.
10 touchdowns last
Let's
week.
go.
Come on now.
Let's go. Hey, we'll catch you guys on Monday.